Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Modernize or Die CFML News Edition podcast. So I'm Gavin Pickin. I'm a software consultant for Ortus Solutions, and with me I have a good friend today, Andrew Davis.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So Andrew's a senior developer for InLeague LLC, and he decided to help me out here. We decided we'd give you a fun weekly news. Basically, every week we'll try and come here and give you a rundown on some of the things happening in the ColdFusion community. So you got a Kiwi and a Rignet. So obviously it's not going to be too formal here.
Yeah, I'll be the redneck. And sorry about that little delay there. Even though I'm a redneck and people think we're delayed, I had audio going on in my ear, so I was hearing Gavin twice, and I was really freaking out for a second. So I apologize.
Yep. So it looks like there are a few people watching live, so that's great. Appreciate it. We got to get into the nuts and bolts of it here. So first of all, we're going to start with news and events. So the big thing is obviously the Modernize or Die podcast. So at last week at Into the Box, we announced these new podcasts, and the Ortus community, or Ortus and the community, are going to be producing this podcast. But we have two editions. So right now you're watching the CFML News Edition. So what's this one going to be about, Andrew?
Well, the CFML news, we're going to just bring you, you know, anything that's going on in the CF community, whether it be upcoming shows or VS Code tricks, anything like that. We're going to hopefully get it out to you, just kind of as a reminder, because quite honestly, things just kind of fall through the cracks, and we're all too busy half the time. And so this is just going to be a little quick way to give you the blurbs and everything you need. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the big thing for me is like if you miss something on Twitter, it's gone. And there's so many good blog posts and videos and stuff out there in the community, but we're just missing them. So, if you guys have anything that you see out there you want to share, please reach out to me or Andrew. Let us know. We'll get a web form up and running soon too, you guys, so you can submit some content there as well. So if there's something going on, there's a new release of a framework or something like that, let us know and we can try and put it up in here. But as Andrew said, we're also going to do like the VS Code hints, tips, and tricks of the week. Now, for me, whenever I go to a conference now, that's the most important thing. I'm always like, hey, what extension are you using? What theme are you using? And everyone's wanting to see my list. So we thought we'd just give one away every week, just give you the best and the brightest. And same thing with ForgeBox modules. There's so many amazing modules out there, and I don't even know half of them. I was showing Luis one of my presentations one day, and even he hadn't seen one of these modules. So there's a lot of great things out there, and this is a good way to get out the word. So we're going to try and keep this one a little shorter, so it's going to be nice and short. But for those of you that really want to hear a lot more and hear a lot more from us, we're going to do the Soapbox Edition. So the Soapbox Edition, as it sounds, we're going to get up on our soapbox and preach. So we'll have some Ortus members there talking about different things, but also community too, right? Because at End of the Box, Andrew, how many community speakers were there versus Ortus speakers?
Yeah. So there were probably 15 community speakers
Yeah.
and just a handful of order speakers, and it was really good to see the community kind of step up. Honestly, in my opinion, the community is what's kept ColdFusion alive for so long, and it's really good to see them um, stepping up and doing what they need to do to move us forward.
Yep. So that Soapbox edition, I'll be interviewing some different members. So we'll be looking about looking at tools, frameworks, best practices, but other things too that are just going on in the community. Lessons learned, or anything like that. So that'll be a longer version. Closer to probably an hour or so, and then we'll really get in touch and get inside the brains of these smart people in our community. So. Like I said, I'll be hosting that, or maybe some of the other Ortus team members will be hosting that as well. But that'll be the Soapbox edition. So we're gonna try and do a weekly news like this, live once a week, and we'll try and do a Soapbox edition too. Uh,
Yeah, and for those of y'all who don't like the redneck voice, don't worry. I'm not going to be on the soapbox edition too often. Probably not at all, just because there's so much other good things and good people to listen to than me. So don't let me deter you from that.
yeah. And then, of course, these podcasts, they're brand new. We're still working on getting the iTunes account set up and the websites and everything. So watch out for an announcement for that soon. You'll be able to get this in your earbuds, and we'll be the little voices in your head very soon. So we'll get that rolling out pretty soon. The plan is we'll try and do Tuesday live podcasts here with a weekly. And then the Soapbox will probably release on Thursday. So one a week for each, one short, one long. So hopefully everybody's happy. And if you don't like it, don't tune in.
Yeah, come on now. They're going to love it. It's going to be a success. So, what's next? What do we have besides just us rambling?
Okay. Well, so the first thing we're going to do is obviously we have the Into the Box. That's sort of the big event. So Into the Box last week, it was huge. Another big conference for us is the Ortus team. We've been in Houston now by ourselves for several years. I think this is the seventh or eighth Into the Box itself, and we're growing every year. So we had 30% more people this year. We had 30% more people last year. So we're really happy the way it's going.
Yeah,
So
it's constantly growing. I've attended the last 3 or 4 years. I can't even remember. And just since then, it's definitely been a growing conference, and people are really excited about it. And it really does kind of bring the team, the community team together. It's one thing I've noticed over other conferences that I've been at. It's very community centric, and you get that feel when you're here at Into the Box.
yep. So Into the Box, for those who haven't heard, it is not a box centric conference. So again and again, we keep saying there's a lot of stuff there. You don't have to be a box lover or even a box user. And most of the box products can be used by themselves. They don't have to be used inside ColdBox. So there's no excuse. But we had 6 well-attended workshops the day prior to the conference. So every day, every conference now, we're having these workshops. The cool thing I thought was that over 70% of the attendees also went to a workshop. So we had 6 great workshops. We had some Ortus team running them. So I ran a workshop. Eric Peterson, John Clausen, Luis, and Brad, they ran them. And we also had Pete Freitag doing a security workshop, which if you haven't not gone to, you need to, because that will scare you to death.
Yeah, especially if you're not modernizing, it will scare you, and it'll definitely make you want to modernize your code. At least be mindful of old code that you have in production, and hey, we all have it. You know,
Yep.
just got to be mindful of it.
Yep, and so the conference itself is a 2-day, 2-track setup. We had 2 keynotes, and this year Ortus did both of them. In the previous years, Ortus has talked over and over the time every time, so we decided we give ourselves 2 keynotes. And so this time we had day 1 keynote, and we had a day 2 keynote. And of course, we still had too much to talk about, so we ran over time for both of them, but it worked great. So those were actually streamed live, and everyone watching online, thanks. Hope you guys got a lot out of it. It was nice to share it, and we've had some good feedback already from those who did not attend. But yeah, so that was
Yeah,
good.
and that was still, and the keynote still had some community members as well. You actually got to hear from my boss, Sam Knowlton, at InLeague, and he kind of, giving his story on how he's integrating ColdBox into his products, and once again, community centric.
Yep, and then we had a couple of our customers too. We had Ian Woodward from Rev Agency come and talk a little bit about how Ortus is helping them, and I love working with those guys, and it was good to have Ian up there as well and their whole team out at the conference. But we had those 2 days, 2 tracks. We had 28 amazing sessions, and as you said before, we only had 8 Ortus team members presenting, but we had 15 community speakers. Actually, we had 16 because Charlie Earhart actually did a lunch for a fusion reactor over the web, so he was there in person or on the internet. But so we had an additional session there too. So that's 29 sessions plus the keynote. So a lot of great content. I really enjoyed attending a lot of those sessions. And if you guys missed it, I'm sorry, but we will be having some video packages available soon. So we really
Yep.
upped
The
our
only thing
video
you
game this
won't get
year.
to see is Happy Box. You have to experience that for yourself. Um,
Yeah. Well, Happy Box was a big hit this year as well, but I did actually get some video of that. So
oh, did you?
we upped our audio video game this year. We got some mixes and everything. We got better recording equipment. So hopefully those videos will be available soon once we're done editing, and you guys can pick up a package if you didn't get them. So you'll be able to buy them individually or in a group package, and saving a lot there. But Happy Box, we did get some video, and I was glad because we had a little surprise. So the mariachi band was there as usual. We have a great mariachi band. They put on a amazing show, but we had some extra bonus features there.
Yeah, definitely good stuff. So, what do we have coming up? I mean, I know Into the Box is done for this year, but that does not mean that that's all the CF goodness.
Yep.
anything new and exciting like the CF Roadshow?
Yep, so we have the Adobe Roadshow coming your way. So this has been going on for a couple of months now, but there's still a few more stops left. So this week, actually tomorrow in Austin, they have a breakfast meeting with the Adobe team. So they're going to talk to you a little bit about ColdFusion 2018 and why it's good, and you'll also get to touch base with some of the Adobe team as well as community members there. So they put on a big feed. I went to one in LA previously, I think last year, and it was a good turnout, lots of food and lots of faces I don't see at normal conferences, to be honest. So it was good. But we also have one on May 9th in Dallas, and then they go West Coast real quick because I think there's an Orange County on the 23rd, May 23rd. Orange County's having a breakfast meet too. So we'll post the show notes here soon, and you'll be able to get the link to go register. You can register for those. So if you haven't been to
Yeah.
one, check it out. You get to talk to Alicia and some of the other Adobe members and ask questions, and they'll show you the best of the best with 2018.
Yeah, and the early bird special is only $99. I'm
Oh,
not sure how long that lasts, but
oh, that's for CF Summit.
right. Oh, Roadshow's free. I got ahead of
Yeah,
myself.
yep. Roadshow's
Oh,
free. Yep. So
imagine that.
yeah, Roadshow's free. So free breakfast if you want to listen to Adobe. So that's cool. But yeah, no, CF Summit. That's the next big thing. So that their
Yeah.
conference again, the biggest conference in ColdFusion right now with 500 plus people. But Andrew's right. Early bird's $99.
Yep. And me being an early bird, I jumped the gun there. And call to speakers is open now as well through the 26th of this month. And for any of y'all who attended my session into the box, I'm going to chew on that one a while before I decide to submit it.
Yeah, but the
You'll
early bird's
understand.
great. If you are thinking of speaking and you're not sure if you're going to get picked, grab the early bird. If they do pick you, you can transfer your ticket to somebody else for that price, or you can get your money back. So I usually do that because they're going to give you breakfast and lunch for 2 days in Vegas. That's $99 worth of value right there, plus the conference, and you get to meet all the cool people. Plus, Ortus will be there. We'll have our team there as usual, and we always provide training. So we'll have a training probably the day before or the day after. But that's not all that's going on around that conference too, because Adobe just announced something special. They released the new ColdFusion Specialist Certificate Program.
Yeah, and it's going to be a full day program delivered by some Adobe experts there. I haven't followed up too much about it, but they have not done anything, big word, certification program, probably since Macromedia MX days. I believe that was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. It could be
Yeah,
later.
I think they had a ColdFusion 9 as well. They had
CF9, really?
possibly, but I mean 9 is like 12 years out of date. Anyone running that, remember it's history. So yeah, they've been talking about it for a while and they finally got it completed. So yeah, you'll basically get all
Nice.
the materials before the final day. You'll have to actually do like a little project on your own and submit it before the conference. But that's $399. I believe that's an early bird price too. So $399, and you'll actually go ahead and come in for the last day and do the sort of the final assessment. And if you become certified, then you'll be ColdFusion certified. And like I said, the last person to get certified was probably at least 10 or 12 years ago with the CF9. So
And
again,
it's in Vegas.
yep, this year we're
What
having
could
it
go
at the
wrong?
Mirage. Yep, so it's always fun in Vegas. There's a lot of good food and entertainment around, and Adobe puts on a great party. So the conference is always fun. Lots of people around. Like I said, we're the oldest team will be there. Andrew's been there the last few years too. A lot of good community. So like I said, for $99, it's kind of hard to say no. So don't miss out on the early bird price though.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, last year Adobe outdid themselves on the party. It was at the Hard Rock Hotel. It was
That's right.
basically a
We're out
pool
there by the
party.
pool. Yep, and we had
Yeah,
some
it was
Polynesian
nice.
dances and everything up on the stage. We got a few community members up on the stage too. David from Fusion Reactor was up there. He always likes to have a good time. It was always fun with him. So
Yeah, I didn't get on stage, but it was definitely a good time. Drinks and food and the whole 9 yards.
and even people
So,
went swimming, which was kind of a shock, but they did make it into the pool.
oh
But yeah,
wow, I missed that one.
okay. Well, so after you're done in September 30th for the training, and then October 1st and 2nd for the CF Summit, then you have the next conference just a couple weeks later. So we have CF Camp, which is going to be in in Germany. So it's
The
in Munich.
17th and 18th of
Yep.
October. Yep.
So a couple weeks later, and I still have not made it there yet. It's on my list, but I'm trying to get it arranged for the wife and family to come with me. I know that Brad is going to be there, and Eric and Luis and Jorge have all been there in the past. And again, we run great trainings there, but the lineup themselves, like a lot of great speakers are there, a lot of great content, and it's a really good time. So I'm kind of jealous not being able to make it there so far.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can make it as well. Things just didn't work out this past year, but hey,
Yep.
this is a new year, so we'll go for it.
And the call for speakers is available too. So if you've got something to share, and I think everyone does, and don't be afraid to put a topic in because they're always looking for new speakers and new points of view. You don't have to be the normal speaker that shows up at every conference. They like to see new speakers too. Same goes for CF Summit Into the Box. So the call for speakers is available there too. The deadline's in July, so you got a couple months to chew on it, Andrew. But yeah, we'll
Yeah,
go
and you
from there.
can't, you definitely cannot do any worse than I did. I literally choked on it. Yeah,
Yeah, so he had to
so
go to the emergency room. So we'll ask him about that later.
yeah, let's do that later.
Yeah. So a great conference again. Tickets not available just yet, but they'll have early bird coming out soon. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep you up to date as well. So we want to highlight some blogs and tweets and videos of the week. If you were on Twitter this week, you would have noticed a lot coming out of Into the Box. So we had
A lot of activity.
yeah, a lot of pictures, tweets, a lot of announcements. We had slides galore from all the slides, and we'll be writing some blog posts soon. But still on the topic Into the Box, Matt Clemente provided his slides and code here, and he also wrote up on Into the Box. And it's good to have a community member say it because we always say you don't have to be a box fan to come to Into the Box and get a lot out of it. But he wrote it and made a nice write up here. So I would check this blog post out. He did a couple of good sessions. He's got a slide there in his code as well. We love having Matt at the conference. He really adds some different flavor, and he's really committing to the community. So check that one out, and that's on mattclemente.com, so blog.mattclemente.com, and again, we'll have the links here in the show notes we'll post soon. And then another one, another community member, he was at the conference too. We got to meet Michael Bourne. He's been releasing a lot of cool blog posts lately as well. So this one here, he talked about higher order functions in Lucy. So did you know what a higher order function is, Andrew?
Yeah, it's way up here.
Yeah, so
No, yeah, I do, but yeah,
we
let's
use them all the
explain it.
time, but
Yeah, it's yeah, I'll let you go with it.
yeah, so I mean, basically, any function where you pass another function into it, sort of like a higher order function. So we use them all the time with closures, and a lambda is higher order function too. And he talked about using the array sum and array every, and basically using that. It was pretty cool. I hadn't heard the term higher order function, or at least knew what it meant, but we've been using them all the time. But he talked about these two new ones called array sum and array every that's in Lucy, and it's kind of cool. You can basically pass in a value and then pass in a function you want array sum or array every to check. And so instead of having a loop and looping through every variable and finding out if every item in there is true or not, or if some of them are true, you can basically use these functions to do that for you. So instead of having all the if logic and loop logic and cancel, these array sum and array every will do it for you. So array sum will basically give you a true back if any variable that you pass in returns a true from that function. And then array every it'll only return true if every single item that you pass through will have that. So
That's exactly what I was going to say,
well,
word for word.
I was hoping you would have said it better than me, but anyway, so yep. So there's a couple of blog posts. I see there's plenty more, but most of them are ITB related. So I don't want to drown you in ITB this week, but the week after the conference is going to happen. So next we're going to work on module of the week from ForgeBox. So this is really hard because I mean I use 20, 30 modules every day. I make my life easier with modules. I mean, so kind of a hard list to pick from. I mean, did you see
Well,
John's session on 10 and 50 at Into the
yeah, those
Box?
were excellent, and it's so crazy because now half of those 10 that were used is such core for most everything I develop now. It's like you kind of have a tendency to forget that that's a very crucial module because it is such core to what we do and develop with. And this week's module is CFConfig, and it's kind of the same way. I don't, not to be left behind. It is very core to everything that I work on, and basically what it does is any configuration that you have in your ColdFusion server, you want to be able to transport it, from person to person, developer to developer, and CFConfig does that, and it's crucial for Docker. It's I feel like it may be kind of getting like left behind as far as the hype of things, just because it is such core,
Yeah.
but it is still technically a module, and not to say left behind. I mean, there has been, 25,000 installs according to ForgeBox. So
Yeah, I
don't
mean
let me
it's a great
there.
module. I mean, remember before, every time you got a new site, you'd clone it, you'd go add your database, and you'd start up your engine of choice, and then you have to go log in and change all your settings, add your data sources, add your caches. And CFConfig makes that easier. Whether you're using Docker or not, just having your local development machine spin up that quick is amazing. So like now, if you have a cache, and in production you have a cache server like CacheBox or using CacheBox with Couchbase or Redis, or your own. Now locally you can set up to use memory cache, and then your data source is already set up. Use environment variables for your password, so it's not locked into your code. But it's awesome. I mean, and migrating from old servers to new servers, you can diff your servers to see what's different. That's crazy. Brad's put a lot of work in before this was around. Basically, if you wanted to change your password or some settings inside your configuration when you deployed it to through Docker or just locally, you either had to use the admin by logging in and taking it the hard way, or you'd have to basically pass XML files and inject settings. And that's basically what Brad did to figure this out. He sat there one day, going setting by setting through the admin, diffing the changes when he changed the setting. So that's what he had to do to figure out what was different, and so he could make this work. And so
And
CFConfig is
backup. Now you
lifesaver.
have backup.
Oh yeah, that's another good point
Remember
too. Yep,
before, how many times did you lose your Neo XML file and
yep,
be like, "Well, when was the last time I saved it?" So essentially, you have backup with using CFConfig of your configuration.
yep.
Um, I hope I'm not telling my age there, but I think we've all experienced that issue, losing their XML config. So great
Exactly.
module. There'll be more modules to come,
Yep. So every
and
week we'll pick one to
so
spotlight. There's plenty in our list for sure already, but if you have any good ones that you're using that you want to spotlight, again, reach out to us. We'll add it to our ForgeBox module of the week. So then next on the list, after ForgeBox modules, we want to talk a little bit about VS Code. So VS Code is hot. I mean, if you're not using it already, you should look at it because there's some. It's just great. I mean, it does everything you need and more. It's quick. The extensions are amazing, and like I said, every time I do a training now, one of the first questions people ask me is, "Can I get your list of extensions?" Because they want to see all the cool stuff that I'm using. There's bracket highlighters and tab indenters and code formatters and dark themes, light themes, and everything else. But so there's a lot of cool things in VS Code. So we thought
yeah,
let's just do one a week, right? I mean, keep you coming
yeah.
back for
I
more.
think there's a bunch more that we're going to be releasing and telling you about. But uh, at the conference, helping out in the workshops, one of the things I've noticed some people struggling with, and it may just be that they just are the mouse type of person, but that you say, hey, let's go up, open up the ColdBox config file, right? ColdBox CFC. Well, there's a shortcut instead of having to use the browser on the left, and this is a very minor trick. But if you hit the Command P on a Mac or Control P, it brings up the search and find function, and allows you to type a file name in. And so you type in coldbox.cfc, and bam, you can open up ColdBox config and make changes to it. But there's also some other options, such as search and functions. You can type the at and then function name. Bam, it'll do a little function search for you. So
Yep. So if you can't remember which file you put it in, maybe your code is really hierarchical. You can look for a variable. You can look for a function by using the at symbol. So Control P at. Start typing your function. You can find your function anywhere in your site. It's really handy, and like I said, it's just one of those little hints and tips that I forget to use all the time. I'm always using that mouse, and I get into a habit when I'm on my big screens have everything laid out nice and easy, but it's a lifesaver. And at the workshop, I started to use it more, and it just efficiency is just so easy to pick up with VS Code. So again, so it's just a workflow. It's just Command P or Control P to bring up your file search. Start typing the file name or doing at and then do your symbol, and yeah, make your life a little easier. So
A little bit easier. So that pretty much wraps up what we have to talk about today, doesn't it, Gavin?
yep, I think we've been recording long enough. It's probably more than we thought we'd run into, but
Yeah, we may have gone over a 15-minute, but we'll get better at that time management and all. And 30 minutes isn't too bad. Hopefully, that's what it was.
yep. And
So
so yeah,
I
so I
guess
mean,
next week you're going to start with. You're going to do the soapbox next week.
well, the soapbox will be released later this week on Thursday, and
This week.
then yep, we'll try and get it released this week. So we'll have a couple of those coming out here, and then like I said, we're working on the podcast site and the iTunes. So as soon as that's there, all our back issues will be in there for us. So um,
Excellent.
yep, I
Well,
think
then
we're
join Gavin and whoever the guest host is going to be for the upcoming soapbox. And I will see you guys next Tuesday.
yep. So have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your week, and again, if you got any news you want to share, reach out. I'm G Pickin on Twitter.
I am Blue Soul 850. All
Yep, and we'll see you next time. Thanks
right,
again.
guys. Have a good one.
Bye.